I'll never forget this one. I had a teacher in middle school because I was blind. He would put me to run with like the fat kid, and he would be like,
no.
"Here, you're half a person, and he's half a person."
No
Make one. I swear.
Damn.
Wow.
Ooh.
Just are assholes.
I
All
was like,
together make a whole person.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Wow. That sucks.
That
Yeah.
is so terrible.
Karma's
I
a
guess
bitch.
it's like, okay, he can't run fast because he's fat, and she can't run fast because she's
She's
black.
blind.
Oh my God.
Wow.
That's so bad.
That's terrible.
Fucked up.
Yeah,
that-
so, like,
Yo,
you know,
teacher, I'm judging you and your mama today. That's
hell yeah.
No, you know what? Only back in the day could something like that fly. Because you
Mm.
know,
Oh,
if
yeah.
something like that, if somebody
telling
says that
you.
shit right now, whew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
parents will be
No,
up.
and then like I would tell my parents, but you know how Hispanic parents are. I'd be like, "Ay, mamita, it's okay. Like, just let it go." That's how my mom was.
Yeah.
oh
And
no,
I'm like,
my mom would be
not
cursing up
mine.
a storm.
No, my mom would have been writing
Oh my
letters.
God, yeah. And like it's been, I think I was like 10 or 11. I was like in 6th grade, and it's been 20 years, and I'll never forget. Like,
Oh,
I'll never
wow.
forget.
Yeah.
Hello, we are back. This is Babies Down, Bottles Up, and we have a very exciting episode. We are doing part 2 of our Back to School series, and we actually have a real life superhero on the podcast today. We are interviewing a blind teacher. Jess, we are so excited to have you. Ladies, let's show her some love. We can't wait to hear everything you have to share.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be on the show. I love it. I've heard some episodes, and I'm a big fan.
Oh, thank you.
you.
Welcome.
Exciting.
Yes. We're happy to have you.
Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, like your background and how you got into teaching?
Yeah, sure. So I have been teaching for, I think, oh my God, this is my 12th year. And I grew up, my parents are Colombian, so I grew up speaking Spanish and English at home. I was a psychology major when I was in college, but I was minoring in Spanish anyway. And I've always really loved teaching. I honestly, there's some teachers, you're going to come across teachers who do it for the summers maybe, or do it because they just don't have it. But I genuinely love teaching. So I was like, okay, maybe I'll switch from psychology to teaching. But then I had the minor in Spanish already. So I kind of just went with it, and I really loved it. So yeah, I have, let's see, what else can I say about myself? I'm blind. I have a guide dog. I have 2 boys. One is a 6-year-old. He's in 1st grade. And I have a baby. He's 15 months old, and his name is Jacob. And the older one is Joshua. And I teach high school. I've almost always taught high school. I had an opportunity to teach elementary school for a couple years. And no, it was not my jam.
It's a quick no.
No, I did it this last year that passed was my 1st year back at the high school. And that last year I was pregnant with my little one and in elementary school, and I taught K through 5th grade Spanish. Oh my God. It was rough. It was rough. It was not my, I kind of I know that some teachers are like, I don't like teenagers, but I like the teenagers. Give me the hormonal teenagers. It's fine. I'll deal with them. But yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I teach Spanish at a public high school, and I really love it. I love teaching. I love my kids, and I'm married. What else can I say about myself? Oh God, I don't know. I think if there's anything else that I'm missing.
Well, being that you teach teenagers, does that ever make you want to have a little drinky drink?
All the time, girl. All the time.
So speaking of, who is drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking.
Nice.
What are you drinking? She's like, I know what I came here to do.
To relax, enjoy my summer. Yeah. I'm just having a wine cooler, Smirnoff. I think it's strawberry flavored.
Oh, that's my flavor. I'm always drinking something strawberry when I know what it is.
I am doing a horchata buzzy. So that's what I'm drinking tonight.
Is that like horchata but with liquor?
Yeah, it's
I gotta try that.
Tequila and horchata, yeah. It's a buzzball.
Sounds yummy.
Yeah, they're pretty
so
good.
My husband had his promotion ceremony and party and all that over the weekend. So we have a lot of Prosecco left over. So I'm having some Prosecco. I know, you're shocked.
Speaking of drinks of the week, don't forget about our giveaway that we have going on, guys. We are so close to 5,000 plays. Last time I checked, we were at 4,887 plays. And y'all, we are really close to hitting that 5,000 listens. So when we hit 5,000 listens, a lucky listener will get an opportunity to win a gift basket full of goodies like wine and stuff that goes with your wine. So it could be like chocolate or cheese. We have like a wine stopper, some wine glasses, and may have a BDBU logo on it. And if you don't drink wine, we still got you covered. We'll get you some popcorn or something like that. But
sparkling cider,
right? And some orange juice. I don't know. But we got you covered. So to enter into the drawing, all you have to do is email us at info@bdbupod.com with your favorite episode, that link to the episode, and why that episode resonated with you. And right now we only have one person in the drawing. So you guys have a really good chance of probably winning. So make sure you guys...
this is the money episode, I think. This is the one that's going to get us to 5K.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
So
we'll probably slap like a date. Wait, how do you say that?
A deadline.
A deadline.
Yeah.
A due date. I don't know.
Yeah.
We're talking about school. It's a due date.
Yeah.
I think we should have a deadline. So keep your eyes out on our socials. Babies Down Bottles Up on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We don't really use Twitter. But you can find us at BDBU _pod.
It's BDBU pod on Twitter.
Okay, thank
and then
you.
By the way, for TikTok, there's a lot of content going up on TikTok. So if you want to have some funny clips to remember some of your favorite episodes by, go ahead and check out the TikTok. I've been trying to make sure that we pump that one up.
Oh, nice. I'll have to go follow that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So make sure you guys are following us on all of our socials so you can keep up with everything that we have going on. We have some really fun, exciting things happening in the next couple of months. So y'all keep your eye out and don't forget to send us that email.
Awesome. Well, we have lots of burning questions, so we're excited to get started. I was curious, Jess, how do the parents usually react when they find out that you're blind and that you're going to be teaching their children? Have you ever had any issues with any parents?
No, actually, I haven't had any issues. Well, I have a guide dog and she comes with me to work. So there's been like a couple of times. It happens more in the elementary school, actually, now that I think of it. That there was a few parents like that were concerned about allergies. Their kids were allergic, but you know, most of the time, 99% of the allergies is like if you go touch the if you touch the dog or something, or you get the dander. So I told them, like I explained, or the nurse from the school actually helped me explain it to them. Those are the only issues, but honestly, they've been really positive about it. It's been a positive experience. I really haven't had any negative, experience about teaching the kids and being with my disability. Like I haven't had anything negative, actually. They've actually come up to me and they love my class and tell me that their kids love my classes. So yeah, it's been pretty good.
That's great.
Do you find that your dog is distracting to your class? Do you always have that conversation at the beginning of the school year, or how do you handle the dog being in the classroom and like kids wanting to pet it?
Well, again, with elementary, those couple years was very, very stressful for me and for the dog, because she, I think I made the mistake in the beginning of telling them that her name was Jamie. And so every time they could have seen me 30 times in the day, and they would all of them would always say, and like for the dog, that's really distracting. And for me, and then I felt like a tape recorder. Remember, guys, like I explained to them at the beginning of class, I showed them a video like the first day, but like, they're kids. So it's hard for them. They wouldn't pet her. They were good about that, but like it was very exciting for them to have a dog in school. So it was hard for them to like not call out and stuff. But with the high schoolers, it's much better. Most of them, are pretty good about it. She's in a crate. Like I have my own room. So she's like in her own crate, and they just leave her. They like looking at her. And sometimes they're like, could we, like, if we finish 5 minutes early, they'll be like, can we, like, pet Jamie? Like, and if she's off harness sometimes, like, sometimes I'll allow it, like on, special days or whatever.
Mhm.
Or like I've had times when a kid is having a bad day, they're like, can I pet the dog? But it helps them, sometimes. So I'm like, yeah, sure. But they understand the rules much better, which is why I kind of like the dynamic of teaching high school better than elementary.
Yeah, my daughter has some medical issues and medical anxiety and autism. And when she has to have like medical procedures or anything scary, the hospitals actually have therapy dogs, and having the dogs there like in high stress times really helps. And they've found it really to be so soothing to the children. So I definitely get that, like how kids, if they were upset or having a hard day, would enjoy petting her.
Yeah, my
enjoy
dog,
that.
my first dog that was retired, I retired her and I got a new dog. She actually became the therapy dog for the school, like for the other district dog.
I love that.
Yeah,
That's
it was
so
the
cool.
thing. I know. They loved it because like she would go to the guidance office and like she'd just hang
Aw.
out there with the kids, and it was really great.
Wow. That's awesome.
Can I be real with y'all? I was actually coming up with this business model when I had a guide dog. I was gonna pimp my dog out for cuddles.
No, you weren't.
Oh my.
Yes, he
So
was.
I was
You
gonna take my
would.
dog
This
to
is
like
very
college, like universities
The
during
dog
like
schools
finals.
are gonna blacklist you.
During
Yeah.
they already did. Don't worry. So during finals, you know what I'm saying? Like $40 an hour, cuddle with Tia. Oh, come on, yo. They would do it,
She
man.
was gonna have a menu.
We need Danny to be all about the hustle.
I know.
Make the money
course.
any way you can, baby.
So I'm interested to know, Jess, is there something that you do like at the beginning of the school year to kind of introduce your disability to like your new classes, or like just to break the ice? Like, is there something you do?
Yes, I always give them like a little speech at the beginning of the class. And I always tell them like I'm very open about my disability. Like if you have a question about how I do things, most of my things I explain to them like, I really only have light perception and like a few like, I can see shadows here and there, but really no usable vision. So I explain to them like all the, ins and outs and how I do things and what I use on the computer and the screen reader. I explain to them like the phone, like how I do things on my phone. Like I try to go through like all the questions that I think they may have, because they're very shy. Like even though I give them the space to say like, ask me questions, it's fine. A lot of them won't, because they're just like afraid. You know how high schoolers are. They don't want to get
Oh my
embarrassed.
gosh, it's like pulling teeth.
whatever.
I have a
Yeah.
teenager. She's like, everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly. They're always they're good. I'm good. They're always good. With the little ones, of course, when I did it those couple of years, they had a lot of questions like, how do you walk? How do the little typical questions. And I tried to like, answer them, but I always like at the beginning of the year have the, the little speech that I have, and then I show them like certain things. Like I'll show them how like Be My Eyes works. They're like, wow, that's so cool, and like things like that, like little things that I'll show them at the beginning of class. And then sometimes I'll get the kids like a couple years in, and then like in a row, and then they know everything. But I'm a language teacher, so I tell them like, guys, if I don't know who you are, like by November, and you're talking to me, that means you don't participate enough. So you better get
Oh.
Good point.
Yeah,
That is
so
a
they
good
always
point.
know. Yeah, and they're always surprised. They're always like, I can't, like, I already know them. Like by the time November rolls around, I know most of them. And like I said, like the ones that I don't, you don't participate enough. I don't know.
Yeah. So like, was it hard in elementary? Because I feel like a lot of elementary school kids sound the same.
They do.
Oh my God, they do.
It was. It was really hard. I didn't know half of it. And then I had like so many students because I was like in every class once a week. So I had so many students. I only knew like the really bad kids, to be honest.
That's funny.
Dang.
That's fair.
The ones that
Not,
wouldn't
like,
be
participating
quiet.
a lot.
Yeah.
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 Keisha has experience. She's like, yeah, no, I get it.
Yeah, I get it. I work in a middle school now, but I did work at an elementary school for a couple of months. And
Oh,
yeah.
really? Did you like it or not?
I'm glad to be back at middle school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I do have a question. How is it with admin? So I've had my own experience with admin at a school that I worked with last year. Have you ever had any admin like concern with how you would manage your class as a blind teacher, or how you would navigate around the building, or just any of your duties that you have as a teacher? Has anyone ever been unsure?
Yes, actually, when I first got out of college, I went on a lot of interviews and like I wouldn't say that I was blind, but then I showed up and obviously like, all right, cat's out of the bag. Like I can't right. So then like I would always say at the interview, like, if you have any questions about my disability or how I do things, like I'd like you to ask, or if you'd like me to explain anything, because I knew they were gonna have their doubts. I know that I didn't get called back for a lot of jobs. It's easy to find a job because there's a teacher shortage. Right? Especially now, more than ever, but before too. And I know that I didn't get called back to a lot of school districts because they were iffy about like, should we really like take the chance, you know? So the first job that I got, and it was a part-time job. It was only teaching like 2 or 3 classes a day. I think it was 3 classes. And I took it because I didn't get anything else. And my supervisor, she was like, your disability is not an issue to me. And I trust that you can do the job. I know that if I need something from her, she's there because she's the one that gave me a chance in the beginning. And like I'm a lot of admins, you know, are like, are you okay? Like, you know, they don't say it, like they're not very outright and like, how are you going to do this? You know, but some of them when I've started, you know, have been. And so I always put my original supervisor down as a reference. Now she's like an assistant, like she's big in like in education now. I think she's like assistant superintendent somewhere.
Wow.
So I always put her name down. And I'm always like, when I applied, I was like, I applied to wherever. And she's like, okay. And she like personally calls and is like, listen, this girl is great.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm so thankful because like a lot of schools, now that I have experience, it's a little easier, you know, because I have a lot of references. People have worked with me in the past. But at the beginning, it was very hard. And with new admins coming in, I know they're always a little iffy. They never say it, but then they go to my classroom and they're like, wow, like, oh, okay, you know, it's fine.
Right.
But you know, it's that little like that little unsureness at the beginning, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you handle misbehaving students, specifically with phones and all these electronics? You know, kids can be sneaky and things like that. What's your policy on those things and how do you manage that?
So it's like phones are my biggest issue because when I was in elementary school with misbehaving kids, but a lot of schools, a lot of classes have TAs, you know, so obviously I had a TA with me as well. And like, she would help me, but it was hard, like, because they get out of their seat. They, you know, things like that. And it was for me, it was very stressful because I don't know, I just didn't have the patience to be like, okay, Donnie, like sit down, you know, like if it's your own kids, you have like, you know how to talk to them, but like when it's not your own kids,
right, you gotta be careful what you say.
And heaven forbid a parent be like, you raised your voice at little Johnny.
I know, exactly. And then like the little complaints of like the first graders, like, Johnny stole my pencil. And I'm like, okay, like, and then you have to like, you know, work through it with them. And it's like this whole thing.
Yeah.
But with high schoolers, I'm like, I have a rule. I was like, the phones are not out. They're not supposed to be out. If they're out, they get put on my desk. I have like a little phone rack thing. It's like a phone. How do I explain it? It's like a phone holder that goes on the door of the classroom.
A phone
they put
caddy?
their phones. Oh, there you go. That's the word. A phone caddy. And then they put the phones, like when they walk in, they're supposed to put the phones in the phone caddy.
Oh, so
that's
just
my
automatically.
My daughter,
you do it like Hollywood parties. Hey, phones at the
Everyone
door.
check your
the
phone.
door. Yeah.
My daughter has a teacher that does that, and she calls like the little cabinet that she puts everyone's devices in Azkaban. And I thought that was
That's cute.
I love that. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. I like that word.
Well, that's what they do at my school too. Like the kids, they have to put their stuff in cubbies, like because they don't have lockers anymore. And so, because when I was in school, we had
Wow,
lockers.
things have changed. Yeah, me too.
But so now, like as soon as they walk in,
wait,
they
so what do they have instead of lockers?
They
nothing. They just carry their backpacks
stuff.
around. Yeah.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We still
So
have lockers.
they have to put their phones.
What do
in
they
the
do with all
cubby
the
at
wall
door.
space in the school?
What?
It's just walls.
It's just walls.
Just walls.
They're graffitied. No, I'm just kidding.
But as they get older, most kids have like a school issued device. So like an iPad or a laptop. So like my high schooler has a MacBook. So they don't really have a bunch of supplies that they bring around.
No.
Yeah, they pretty much just have like, I do everything online. They have like, for me, they wouldn't have books or anything like that. They just have like laptops.
Okay, so like them submitting their work and everything for you is online. You don't pass out a lot of worksheets and things like that?
I might pass out like a worksheet with notes or something like that, but if I'm going to collect something, it's mostly online. And, you know, like pretty much, and since they have to do speaking and stuff, where they have to speak and stuff, so there's that.
Yeah.
But pretty much most of it is online. And then I have like this browser thing that locks their browsers when they're taking a test, so they can't like click onto any other tabs because
We're just
Nice.
you
talking
know
about
how
that
you know
other
how they
day.
are. They're sneaky.
Mhm.
Are you a JAWS user?
Yes.
So, okay, when you're grading their stuff, because I did a lot of Spanish in high school and you probably wouldn't even know it because I don't remember shit. But, but how do you, so like, is your JAWS in, like, does it speak in Spanish? How are you grading their stuff if it's all done online? Because I can't understand JAWS when he starts talking in Spanish anymore.
Well, I have it where it's set to like recognize Spanish, or I could switch it to Spanish as well. But I kind of like, it's kind of weird now, but from so many years, like I kind of understand like English JAWS speaking.
I do too.
Yes.
I don't know how
I do
weird,
too.
but
I just gotta
understand
slow his ass down. Like
too.
when
Yeah.
he's
Exactly. That's what I feel.
Spanish.
Yeah, just slow it down. Slow it
I
down.
know sometimes you got to go word for word because you're like,
Yes.
what? Hold on,
Make
what
sure you
did
don't miss
say?
that accent sign.
Yeah, exactly. Oh yeah, and then I check for accents too. Like if it's a word that needs to have an accent, I'll check it. Yeah.
I am embarrassed to admit I am a native Spanish speaker, and that's what took me the longest to learn is where the accents go.
Girl, me too.
Yeah.
Don't feel bad.
It's hard. It's really hard. I had to I learned it in college. Like I wouldn't have known if I didn't take Spanish in college, you know?
Yeah.
But honestly, I tell my kids, most of them are, you know, they're white. So like I'm like, as long as you can speak it and understand it, I'm not gonna go crazy with the accent.
Yeah.
Because that's my goal in the end, like for them to kind of like speak it and understand it and be able to write it.
Do you teach different levels of Spanish, or is it just basic?
I teach level Spanish 2 and 2 honors, and this year I'm going to teach level 3 as well. But I've taught like all levels, you know, throughout the years.
Oh, okay.
I've taught like the AP level too, like that's like the college level one.
Yeah, that's the one I took. But the way they separated was like for Spanish speakers and then non-Spanish speakers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I did 1
Oh
through
yeah, they
4.
have that too.
And it was crazy because I learned Spanish from a black lady.
Really?
Man, she would Spanish her ass off, y'all. And yeah, but it was embarrassing when she would like correct me, you know, and I was like, damn.
How was she correcting you?
I know.
So funny.
Yeah.
Wait, was she your teacher?
Yeah, she was my teacher.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I took Spanish for native speakers in high school, and I did the AP test and like got the college credit for it. Yeah, but it took a lot. I mean, it took a lot for me. Like the accents were a big deal. The grammar,
That's a hard test.
Yeah, the terms, the present, past, all those. Yeah, and how all that was hard. Spanish is hard.
It is.
It is hard.
It is.
I took it in high school I did Spanish 1 through 4 in high school, and then I took like 3 semesters in college, and I was like, man, fuck this. I can't do this.
So I know you told us at the beginning, but you went to school for psychology?
Well, I was majoring in psychology, and then I switched like midway. I never finished it, but I really like it.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like the kids take advantage of your blindness? Like, is there things that you feel like, oh, that was definitely because I can't see what they're doing, kind of thing?
I think it's that, and it's also coupled with the fact that I'm a nice teacher. I want the kids to feel comfortable with me, and I want to I'm not like there's like different types of teaching styles, and there are teachers that they don't have any type of conversation with the kids. They just teach, what they have to teach, and they don't really connect on hey, what's up? Like, how's your weekend? Kind of a different kind of level. Like sometimes we'll sidetrack at the beginning of class and we'll talk for 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe I shouldn't do that, but I feel like that builds, a community in a way.
Yeah, it's
I don't.
important.
They're always gonna
Relatability.
remember you. They're gonna
Yeah,
remember you for
important
that.
to do
Building
Yeah.
that rapport,
Yeah.
like to have them like
Mhm.
trust you and like
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
to be a cool teacher, a nice teacher,
Yeah.
but also
Those
like
are the kind of teachers that you go and hang out with, like during
yeah,
planning
those
period.
are the ones that you
Exactly.
remember. Honestly,
Exactly.
They are.
So I
Yeah.
feel like they'll be like, "Can I go to the bathroom?" And then they'll take like, an extra, 5 minutes. I don't know. I don't think they do it. I honestly don't think that they do it because, oh, she's blind. She's not going to know. I feel like they just do it because, like, oh, she's nice. She's not going
Yeah.
to say anything. So
And they do it
I'm
with any
struggling
other
that a little
class
bit.
too,
Yeah.
especially high schoolers. They're gonna dilly dally. They're gonna
Yeah.
walk
they're
past
out there
their
making
friend's
out in the
class.
hallway.
I know.
No, that
Mhm.
stuff starts in middle school.
Is that what you were doing, Karina? Cochina?
No.
Making out in the hallways?
Ooh.
No,
Girl.
definitely
Back in the
not.
day when there were lockers.
When you open your locker,
Just
no, I'm
hide
just kidding.
behind
Oh, okay. Hide behind the door.
Before there were
Not what I
cameras in
was doing.
school.
Well, I have a question about that. You've been teaching long enough to have made an influence. Has there been a student that you've had from your past that has come back to come and say hi to you maybe, or reach out to you on social
Yeah.
media and say that, you were a major influence and they took up Spanish, they went to college for Spanish?
Yeah, definitely. Once the kids graduate, like I'll be like, okay, you can have my phone number, but certain kids, like I could count them on a hand. I'll be like, here's my phone number, and like they'll text me once in a while to be like, hey, how are you? I really miss you. And I did have a student this student was amazing. He actually just graduated from George Washington University, and he's like trying to apply to be in the UN to like be a translator.
Oh,
So wow, he speaks
Wow.
he took Spanish with me and Italian in college. So you have to speak like 2 or 3 languages, I think he said.
mhm.
No, 3 languages or above to work for the UN.
Wow.
So he's like, that's on his, that's what he wants to
That's
do. And
awesome.
he's texted
That's
me
so cool.
emailed me actually, and he was like, wow, you were such a big influence on me. I really loved your class. So it's always so good to hear those kind of stories.
Aw,
Such
that's
a
so
proud
cool.
moment, I
That's so
bet.
Yeah.
For you. Yeah.
Definitely. So I love that. And I love connecting with them and, seeing how they're doing. Another one is in law school to become an immigration attorney. So she's like, my Spanish really came in
Nice.
handy. So
Let's
I love that. I
go.
love hearing
Freaking
those stories.
awesome. Wow. That's awesome.
I'm curious,
Yeah.
what advice would you give if there's a listener out there right now who is blind and they're like, you know what, I'd really like to be a teacher. What's your advice to them?
I think my advice would be to do it, like to jump in. And I had a professor in college who was like, I don't know if you're going down the wrong path with this, like, and I'll never forget that. Those teachers that like really doubt you,
Yeah.
you'll
I've had
never
some of those.
forget. Like, and that's why I want to be a teacher. That's why I wanted to be a teacher, because some teachers are assholes. Like really, they really
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
And it's like, you never forget them. And then, I'll never forget this one. I had a teacher in middle school because I was blind. He would put me to run with like the fat kid. And he would be like,
Oh, no.
here, you're half a person and he's half a person.
No.
Make one. I
way.
swear.
Damn.
Wow.
Ooh.
Teachers are assholes.
I
Y'all
was like,
together make a whole person.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Wow. That sucks.
That is
Yeah.
so terrible.
Karma's
I
a
guess
bitch.
it's like, okay, he can't run fast because he's fat, and she can't run fast because she's
She's
black.
blind.
Oh my god.
Wow.
That's so bad.
That's terrible.
Fucked up.
Yeah,
that-
so like,
Yo, teacher, I'm judging you and your mama today. That's
hell yeah.
No, you know what? Only back in the day could something like that fly. Because
Oh,
if
yeah.
something like that, if
I'm
somebody
telling
says that
you.
shit right now, whew,
Yeah.
Yeah.
parents will be
No,
up.
and then I would tell my parents, but you know how Hispanic parents are. I'd be like, "Ay, mamita, it's okay. Like, just let it go." That's how my mom was.
Yeah.
oh
And
no,
I'm like,
my mom
no,
would be
no.
cursing up
mine.
a storm.
No, my mom would have been writing
Oh
letters.
my god, yeah. And like it's been, I think I was like 10 or 11. I was like in 6th grade, and it's been 20 years, and I'll never forget. Like,
Oh,
I'll never
wow.
forget.
Yeah.
It's so great. So I would say to those people, like, if you really have a passion for teaching and you want to do it, like, it's possible. Just jump in, do it. Like, just show everybody. Like, every day, I feel like I have to prove myself in a way, like to the kids, to the
Mhm.
parents, to
Sure.
the administration, like, and even if I have experience now and they know, I feel like I have to, like, but I feel like that's just generally us being blind moms, being blind anything. Like, I feel like we always feel like we have to go above and beyond, like
100%.
Yes.
to prove
We
ourselves.
don't get the benefit of the doubt ever. We're
No.
always on display.
Exactly.
So
God
true.
forbid we're having a bad day.
Right.
Nope, we can't
No.
have those.
No, we can't.
Not allowed.
What would you say is your biggest challenge you feel like going into a new class and you're just trying to again prove yourself and make sure that people don't question your abilities? Like what would you say is the biggest challenge?
I would say trying to get to know everybody in the dynamic of the classroom, because there's always like one or two kids that like if they could give you, they could really make it difficult in a way, because if they're always talking, if they're always like, if you're always having to like tell them to put their, do their work, things like that, they can really make or break the class. So really finding the balance of having like a nice, relaxed class, but also like a class that does their work. It's really hard. It's really challenging in the beginning for them to like, like to, I don't know, to like set up that dynamic, I don't think it's really to do with the blindness, but it's more to do with like, making sure the class is fun, but also like does their work, like
Yeah,
that
like
balance.
setting the tone. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you think you would ever teach anything other than Spanish?
Well, I'm actually not certified like in anything else. I wanted to do history, but then I was like, no. I actually just like teaching Spanish, and I do have my master's in like ed leadership, so to be like a supervisor or like an admin.
Oh,
Wow.
okay, girl.
Yeah. So I don't know, like I don't know, I I don't know if I would ever do it. Like my kids are so little still, so like I love having the summers off.
Right.
And I don't know, but it is a lot more money, so I don't know.
So like when
I
you
don't
have your
know.
master's in leadership, that's meaning like you could go do like principal work eventually when you do like the principal certification
then you can work
and stuff.
towards superintendent.
That's
Yeah,
Assistant
principal,
superintendent.
or you could be like a supervisor of like a department, like for
like a
teachers, like
department
to be
head.
their supervisor. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, nice.
So
Wow.
yeah.
That's dope. Well, at least you have those options if you
Right.
ever are just like, oh, I'm tired of teaching,
Well,
That's
sometimes
awesome.
I'm like, I'm tired of teaching. I want to like work from home, but like, I don't know
Yeah.
what I would do. Like I have to find my like niche, I guess.
Did you ever think about going and teach like at a blind school? Because I feel like, I don't know. I know a lot of teachers. I don't know a lot of teachers that are blind that teach in a mainstream school.
Oh, really?
So, so I don't know if that's like just the people that I know, if it's like a common thing.
What, like most blind teachers teach at blind schools, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Or
Well, I
they
never
teach
considered it,
Braille.
but it would
Or
be.
they teach
I think it
Braille
would be
or something
or
like
Braille,
that.
yeah.
They work with blind people.
I wonder.
essentially.
I wonder if it has to do with just like the fear of being out
The
there,
comfortability
and-
of it.
Yeah,
Yeah, being comfortable.
like teaching something and being around people that are blind. Like you're
Yeah.
blind, so it's easier and comfortable, like you said. So
And even like the admins, like how you were saying that you went on lots of interviews but didn't always hear back. Maybe that wouldn't be quite so much at a school for the blind.
Yeah.
oh, probably.
And I know, like, for me, like, my whole career, I was in the blindness field. And when I decided that I wanted to take a step out of it, it was nerve-wracking. I was very afraid, and I wasn't sure that anyone would even give me the chance. And even when I did get the chance, I was second guessed. And so a lot of people probably deal with that. And it's a lot easier to get a job at a blind school because you are blind
For
and
sure.
you're teaching blind kids. And so they're like, oh, yeah, you could do this. You're blind, and they just know more about blindness at those schools sometimes compared to like at a public school, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And like it's really hard in the beginning. Like to actually get your first job and your foot in the door, it's really, really, really hard. Like you have to like find that admin to like give you a chance,
And
It always
which is
takes
why
one
I started
person.
part-time,
It only takes one person.
That's why
It takes-
I'll always be thankful to that supervisor. She works somewhere else now, but I'm always forever grateful because that was,
Yeah,
Do you have friends that are blind teachers? Anybody that you connect with?
I think I went to like a conference before I started teaching in like was it like no, it was ACB. I went to like a national one, and there's like a blind teachers like
Association or group
association.
Yeah.
that I joined like for like a year or so. And like I think I went to like one of their meetings and I connected with a woman who was teaching at a private school. I think she was teaching Spanish, yeah, or French. I can't remember now. And that was pretty cool. Like I spoke to her about like all that stuff, but then we lost touch and like I'm so bad with like going to like any of these like NFB or ACB or whatever meetings. I'm not a part of any. So I
Yeah.
lost touch with all that.
I think the only other thing that I was curious about is just like managing your work life.
I was just thinking about that actually.
Yeah, just because I mean a 6 and a 14 and a toddler is, you know, a lot. And so like how do you manage being with kids even though they're not the same age? But I know you said you also taught in in an elementary school. So like how was that? And then coming home and having to like be a mom and still be around kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean I think that was one of the main reasons why I couldn't do the elementary for more than what I did it for, because I was like tapped out by the end of the day. Like I couldn't get home and like hear
Yeah.
at the time my son was 4 and I was pregnant and I couldn't hear him say mommy, mommy, because like I was just so exhausted. Like the energy you have to give them,
I feel your pain.
the energy you have to give those kids is so much that I just couldn't
Yes.
like I just couldn't handle it. But honestly, like I think now, you know, what I struggle with is like finding the balance of like everything. You know, I feel like as blind moms, we have to like think about everything before
Right.
I have to have everything ready the night before
Yes.
and like figure out like what's happening, like what's he gonna wear. Like I have
Yeah.
my lunch packed, everything ready. And after I had my second baby, like I was like, oh my God, like it's so difficult in a way to like manage. But like now that I'm in high school, I do have a little bit more energy to give them, you know, at home. But it's just it's a you know, it's a lot. And like especially like with transportation, like figuring out like, you know, like my son goes to school at 8, but I have to leave the house at 6:50. Now I have like finding somebody that could stay with my toddler home, and you know, I could get my son ready to school and take him to school, and who's going to pick him up from school because I get home at 3:30 and he gets out at 2:45, and like it's just so many
Yeah.
things that like sighted moms wouldn't have to think about. Like they would just like,
Right.
okay, I'll like drop you off at like soccer practice after, you know, like they don't really have to do like all the logistics of it.
Yeah.
And like,
Sure.
you know, also like giving myself like, you know, time with my kids too. Like I'm a little bit of like a neat freak in a way. I don't know if like being Hispanic, like our moms, you know, Saturday with the music,
Yeah.
you know, like cleaning the house.
Saturday smells like fabuloso at the house.
Fabuloso, yeah.
What are you doing in bed? You better get up and grab a broom.
Yeah. While you listen to the
Sleeping
temerarios.
in? What is that? Ain't nobody sleeping in today.
Yeah. So like this is my time. Like this time when my kids are sleeping is the time that like I do my stuff and like clean up and do all that. When my son was born, the second one, I was like, I think I'm gonna get somebody to do like a deep cleaning every couple of weeks. So then, you know, my husband and I just have to like, you know, do the daily
Maintain.
cleans and
Yeah.
maintain.
Mhm.
So like it's something like I felt guilty. I'm like, oh my God, like that's like an extra expense, but really it's worth it, like to spend time with my kids and like
It's worth
you know,
it.
to do all that. Yeah.
Yeah. Peace of mind.
Oh
I
yeah.
agree. Jess, thank you so much for your time and for taking time out of your busy schedule, because I'm sure, you know, with getting ready for school and like your kiddos and just taking care of life, like you're super busy. So we really appreciate you answering all of our burning questions.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. Like I've loved the show and love listening to you guys. So I'd love being on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. We may have to hit you up offline for more
Right.
Of
questions.
course.
Right?
Definitely.
I know how to work with my admin. No.
No, but yeah, I mean, thank you also for like bringing that resource on. If any of our listeners like want to reach out to a blind teacher and or want to be a blind teacher or anything like that, like, can we use you as a resource, you know, to
Of
be like, I know
course.
someone, because I feel like that's also what the podcast is about, you know, providing resources for people. And so yeah, for someone that teaches in a mainstream school, that's really different. So thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I would love to connect. If anybody ever like wants to connect, you know, that would be great for me. So
And Jess, I'll collect your email that you would like to use for people to reach out to you, and I'll put it in the show notes for you. So
okay,
it's
great.
available. Yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much again. We so appreciate you and all of your time. It's been
Oh,
great.
thank you guys. Oh my, I feel like I finally, like, I don't know like a lot of other blind moms. Like, I mean, I'm part of like the blind mom Facebook group, but like that's like, so big.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know anybody. So like, I was so nice to connect and like,
Aw.
we, you know, anytime you want to hit me up and do like virtual wine Wednesdays or whatever.
Yes, girl.
Hey.
We're always down for that.
We are down.
You guys are going to think I'm an alcoholic. Oh my God.
No.
Say less.
Ask us twice.
They know how we roll.
Oh, you don't know the show.
If you want to have me on one of the raunchier episodes, I'm your girl.
Ooh, yeah.
We found our Patreon queen.
I
over
was,
here.
yeah. Please
This was the
subscribe to the
professional
Patreon.
version.
Yeah.
Right. But after hours.
Yeah, my non-professional side after hours.
Yeah.
So subscribe to our Patreon to hear more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just after
in the
hours.
show
Spicy,
notes.
more spicy content with Jess
Just
too.
after hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, great. This was a really good one, ladies. I think we are done for this episode.
Okay,
Bye.
thanks.
Bye.
Bye.